Hello, my name is Jared Cass. Just talk to you about a court case that I'm a little bit passionate about, Atkins versus Virginia. It's not specifically this only case, but certain cases that go along with this. One, a couple that are being debated down in California and throughout the United States, and it's about capital punishment for the mentally handicapped, mentally ill. This one was Atkins versus Virginia, and basically they wanted to sentence Atkins to death because he had committed murders and he was mentally ill. So they went back and forth, and they brought up one of the bigger court cases that had come before the court system previously, which was Penry versus Lenoff, which stated that a mentally retarded person cannot be sentenced to death. The decision was that executing someone that is mentally retarded is considered cruel and unusual punishment, which of course would go against the Constitution of the United States. So they ruled that that it couldn't be done. So Atkins versus Virginia wanted to overturn that ruling from Penry versus Lenoff, and that was a court case. So they went back and forth. There's different opinions. Lawyers went back and forth, and ultimately they kept referring back to a few of the different court cases. The biggest one again being Penry versus Lenoff. When they came back and said that the decision overall in that court case of Atkins versus Virginia was that there's no reason to go against the previous rulings, such as Penry versus Lenoff, and that the execution of a mentally retarded person was considered cruel and unusual. And they didn't have enough evidence or any reason they found in the state of Virginia to overturn such a decision. The opinions went back and forth. The biggest arguments was that capital punishment in itself is considered unconstitutional. A lot of people felt that capital punishment, the death penalty, is cruel and unusual punishment and shouldn't do it to any human being. And at the time, it was ruled unconstitutional in 14 different states. It also, the other argument is that it is only excessive and therefore considered cruel and unusual punishment because of the mental retardation of that individual. And so that was the biggest arguments. On the opposing side, the opposing opinions believed that regardless of the state of mind, he was a danger to society, that he was going to harm other people if we just let him go. So we were either going to let him rot in prison or we were going to put him to death. Either way, he had to go away and he was a danger to society. And then the argument of saving taxpayers' money, putting them in an institution, overcrowding prisons, putting an extra burden of having another mentally ill person in the prison system. All these arguments came up, and everybody was arguing that it would just be more of a burden to put him in prison. And then the argument, obviously, on their side, that is cruel and unusual punishment. One point that did come up was that putting him in prison would be considered cruel and unusual punishment because a mentally ill person would not be able to fully understand the reasonings why he's there. So it might be more humane to put him to death because either way, the biggest argument was we needed to get him off the streets and he was a danger to society. And then those were the biggest arguments. My personal feelings, I'm currently a corrections officer just out of the Marine Corps, and I work with a lot of mentally ill. I work with everybody, crazies, murderers, rapists, child molesters. All those are in prison. A lot of them are mentally ill, and I personally believe that most of them all have some kind of mental illness to some degrees, otherwise they wouldn't have committed the crimes that they are in. And I'm in favor of capital punishment. Just believe that we should get them off the streets, and that's the best way to go about this. And I leave this all with you guys, and I hope you enjoy.